Home to all the big dreamers, even bigger doers, eco warriors, disruptors, innovators, fearless startups, and entrepreneurs. Catch the Green Hookup Show with Diane Naidu every Wednesday from 10:30 to 11:30 a.m. on brandlive.co.za.
And you're listening to the Green Hookup Show this morning with me, Diane, and Kerry. Kerry, hi.
Happy Valentine's Day.
Whatever that means. So, guys, it's Valentine's Day. I had my big date this morning already.
Did you?
It was my
With your
way
children?
in. My way in. So I'm on this huge health tip. I think it's going to have to last for another 8 weeks. God help us all. I'm not quite losing what I expected to lose.
You look thin in your neck, like we were talking this morning.
Thanks for mentioning my neck, darling. You know, I'm so conscious of it. Very kind of you. But this morning we have a great show lined up. As usual, we're doing our Green Gauge Green Update with African Climate Reality Projects. Nicole Rodell is with us in studio again this morning. But before we get to the nitty-gritties of what's happening in the green space, darling, where do you go if you want to find a date? Never mind, go on a date.
I told you last week there was a man in studio before us, that man that wrote the book, and you were too scared to try your luck, so I'm not helping you any longer.
You can't be poaching off other people's shows. You can't just go find and make a date with someone.
Yes, he was beautiful.
I'm old school.
And he liked you, came and said hello. I saw the sparkle.
So every guy that says hello is like a potential date. Is that what you're saying?
Exactly.
Okay, so where do you go? Where are you going tonight? You must have plans. I know you do have a man in your life.
Yes, but we're not going anywhere because everything is way too expensive and way too full. So we're just going to have dinner at home.
So Vision's come up with a few places to go to. I don't know what our guests think about it or our listeners think about it. Waterkloof Guest House. Where on earth is that?
Don't know.
Then there's a place called Monte de Dios.
No, I don't know. She was being a bit adventurous, eh?
I know. There was even one called Afro Boer. Definitely not going to that place. I love my life to match.
She did put the Orlando Towers if you want to go bungee jumping.
Like,
If
is
you're
that
feeling
romantic?
adventurous.
Is that romantic?
Maybe if you're an adrenaline junkie, you feel in love when you get to the top again. I don't know.
And what makes for a great Valentine's dinner? Is it candlelight? Is it like steak or filet mignon or
I don't know.
what?
I am so not a romantic person.
You're so not the right person to be hosting the show with.
I'm so
clearly.
terrible at Valentine's Day.
But on a very lighter note, big news in the country. Jacob Zuma was given 48 hours within which to resign. He has defied those orders.
Yes.
Let's see what happens next. Did you hear about the Gupta's raid as well?
Yes.
At the house.
The Hawks. Was it the Hawks that raided?
Is that what it's called now, the Hawks? So one person, in fact, 2 people were arrested. We're not quite sure who they are. The rest have offered to give themselves up. So let's see how that plays out. Yeah?
I'm sure some people will be getting paid on the sideline
For what? For arresting them?
for dropping it. It will be dropped.
It will not be dropped. It will not be dropped. But I think it's time now for us to invite and welcome Nicole to our show. Good morning, Nicole.
Good morning. Thanks for having me back.
And this morning you've got some exciting stuff to chat to us about. I see that some people in Cape Town are saying that Day Zero is a myth. There are about 20 members of a coalition against the privatization of water who have descended upon Helen Zille's official residence in Cape Town. Now, I believe you've got some news for us on what the solution might be to Cape Town's crisis.
Well, I don't know about Day Zero being a myth, but there's been some talk about a possible temporary solution in the meantime, and that would be desalination.
Please, can you explain that to less educated people like myself?
So desalination is the process of taking seawater and, as the name suggests, taking out
The salt.
the salt of it and turning it
morning,
into
Kerry.
clean drinking water. So, you know, South Africa's coastline is 2,500 kilometers long, and we've got abundant ocean water that, you know, they could supply to the desalination plants. And already in South Africa, we have about 10 desalination plants, but those are sort of dotted all around the coast from east to west, and the output's quite small and only really caters to the households in the immediate area. But a temporary desalination plant is going to be built in Cape Town, and they're guessing that it's going to produce around 2,000 cubic meters of water a day starting in March.
I thought it was a really long process.
Apparently not. I think
Somebody's been lying to us.
they've contracted someone to put it up, and it's not going to take too long to construct, but it is only a temporary contract that will last around 2 years before all the equipment's removed and the area is rehabilitated.
Yeah, what I found quite interesting is that one of the first countries to come on board was France. Germany as well, in terms of a solution for our water crisis. But those are two countries where privatized water is a big industry. So
Yeah.
I've got big question marks around that. How did they suddenly come like, oh, we'd like to help you, but our water's privatized and people pay?
Yeah, no, I would expect that people would have to pay, the
Premium price.
The city would have to pay a premium
Yeah.
price for their water supply if it was
Yeah.
privatized. But at the same time, the desalination plants, as much as it is a temporary solution, it's not a full solution, because 2,000 cubic meters of water is not nearly enough to supply the whole city of Cape Town. You would need about 500,000 cubic meters of water a day, so that each individual could at least get 100 liters of water for their daily use.
I'm glad
That's
that's
insane.
happening, because I was worried the other day when they told Joburg people to please stop sending all their water to Cape Town.
What's up with that,
Because
man?
we might run out too.
No, that's true. We're landlocked in Gauteng.
Okay, I'm not sending anything. I don't want to run out.
Of course, you want to help your fellow South African citizen and you can send them water, but is a 5-liter bottle of water really going to help if you send that
someone,
down?
Nicole. I just don't see why they were saying to people, don't send. I mean, like you're saying, stop Ubuntu, like don't care about the next person. I mean, what if it happens to us?
Of
We would
course-
want people to also send
Of
water
course,
to
you
us.
must consider them, but at the same time, also consider that the whole country we are a country in need of water.
Well, look, let's move on to something which is hopefully a little bit more positive. You've got some news for us on the Environmental Performance Index results for 2018. What's
yeah.
that all about?
Okay, well, the Environmental Performance Index came out, or EPI for short, and you're hoping for something positive, but South Africa ranked 142 out of 180 countries.
What does
And-
that mean? We suck in terms
We
of
weren't last.
managing
At
our...
least we weren't 179.
Always looking on the bright
Yeah.
side, Kiwi. Come.
But the bottom, I think in the bottom 42, 30 of them were African countries. And how this works is it rates countries on 10 issue categories covering environmental health and ecosystem vitality. So some of it will be air quality, water and sanitation, fisheries, agriculture and things like that. And about 4 years ago, 2014, our rating was 72 out of 178.
So we've got
So
worse.
there has been quite a drop.
And what are the reasons for that?
So I would say that the South African rating has a lot to do with our air quality, specifically to do with Sasolburg.
Coal mining.
Because individually in each category, in our air quality, we ranked 166 out of 180. And in
Well
that
done.
area,
The plot thickens.
in that area, it's one of the most polluted places in the world, in Witbank, and you can compare it almost to New Delhi
Yeah.
at the same time, like with that horrible air pollution. And I would say also maybe another notable part of the ranking had to do with our water and sanitation. There we ranked 133. And that has to do with not everyone having access to clean
water.
drinking water or water-based sewage and things like that.
I spoke to a guy sometime last year. He works on the Water Research Commission and he's got his own business running. And he was saying that the facts and the figures are so flawed in that they could say you've got access to water, but access could be 5 kilometers from your home.
Exactly.
So I'm not sure why it's taking so long for our South African government. I'm just saying it's a basic thing like water. We're not even talking education or housing. We're just asking for water.
Basic survival needs.
I know, basic needs. But look, on a lighter note, what is the news in terms of plastic bans across East Africa? I know Kerry's so tired of me saying I love plastic bag bans. In Rwanda, they're not allowed to. You get fined.
Yeah. Well, one of
So even at the airport, I mean, you've got to hand over your plastic bags. They just will not accept plastic bags in their country.
So, like in Kenya,
That's interesting.
if you either produce, sell, or use a plastic bag, you can either get up to 4 years in jail or a $40,000 fine.
Imagine the people from Spa and Pick and Pay.
Exactly.
They'd be in for life.
So
Oh my word.
at this time, there's more than 40 countries who've committed to the plastic bag ban. And, it makes sense because plastic bags take between 500 and 1,000 years to break down. That is a long, long time.
That is a
And
long
think about if you go to the shop every day, you come away with
Yes.
1 or 2 plastic packets.
So what are they replacing the plastic with? Paper.
Some of them, I think in Tanzania, they're still weighing in on whether or not they're going to go forward with the plastic ban, mainly to do with they're concerned about quite a significant job loss
Yeah.
and manufacturers having to close, but they're considering, if they do ban it, that they can turn the factories and things into paper.
Yes.
Paper bag
Manufacturing houses, yeah.
producers.
And that's the thing, like we must stop making excuses. I mean, when they talk about shutting down coal mines and these people will lose their jobs, in countries like Denmark, they've been able to make the transition from coal to a waste-to-energy plant. They've been able to convert it.
There's always a new thing that can be made
Yeah.
and a new trade that they can learn.
So now, if you have a dog and they ban plastic bags, how do you clean your garden? What do you put it in? Can any of you tell me?
The poop.
Yes. What do you pick it up with?
You dig it into the ground and you stick it in there, darling. It's called compost.
No, but somebody told me that because they eat pellets and things, it's not good for the grass. It's not good.
But darling, it doesn't kill the soil as much as a plastic bag does. I'm just saying weigh up your options. Pros and cons. Pros and cons.
I'm just saying you try pick up dog poo without a plastic bag.
Use a spade.
You dig it up.
Use a spade. Just
were you
to pick
thinking
it up
of using
and
your bare hands,
tuck it
darling? We're
away.
not talking about them. We're not talking about gloves. Anyways, let's get back to the Valentine's Day little tips that we've got for loving the earth and celebrating a love affair with earth.
Okay, so while we're talking about plastic bags, a tip to show your love for the earth is to say goodbye to single-use plastics. So that's your plastic
Straws.
bags, your straws, your plastic cutlery, things like that. I know a few businesses are already on that, like Kauai and Ocean Basket. They're not serving straws or plastic cutlery with any of their food anymore, which is really good. And you also see in lots of supermarkets, you have those canvas bags, and some of them look quite cool, It can be
I
like a
quite
bit of
like
an
them.
accessory. So yeah, get yourself a canvas bag and remember to take it to the shop with you. I know sometimes I forget and then I just end up carrying out my groceries in my arms rather than buying a bag. Another thing that you can do is reduce your food waste. So a few ways to do that is to plan your meals in advance. I know it can be a mission, you come home from work and you don't really feel like cooking, but you've bought stuff in the fridge and you just order takeout and the stuff you've bought goes to waste. Rather plan your meals in the week for advance just to, cut down on the food that goes off in your fridge that you can't actually use. And another way to do it is to get a bokashi. Have you heard of a bokashi?
What is a bokashi?
So it's
Sounds
this.
like a fashion accessory.
It's not.
Bokashi.
It's this big black plastic tub, and you fill it with the stuff that bokashi gives you, and you can put all your cooked food that you're throwing away if you're not saving your leftovers or anything. Throw that in the bokashi, close the lid, and it turns into a way to compost your garden.
There you go.
Oh, I'll throw my dog poo in there too.
Yeah,
I think you can, yeah.
you probably
So
can.
it's a way to break it down faster. So it turns everything into a bit of a mush, and then you can just scatter it around your garden.
Clever.
And you can use that together if you are starting your own veggie garden, which is also another way to show your love for the earth. You know, grow your own food. It's a way to reduce waste from supermarkets, and you're not obviously then using the plastic packaging that comes,
That's
you
a
know,
whole
with
industry on its
your
own. Yeah.
thing. And I have my own veggie garden, and I love it. The food.
What do you have in your garden?
Oh, I've got everything.
Oh, jeez. She's
Me
such a
too.
show off.
Me
She's like, I've got
too.
everything.
I love the idea of a veggie garden, but I haven't quite implemented it yet.
You know, you can start small. Start with a little bowl, and you can fill it with some micro herbs. You know, take it step by step. You don't have to have everything all at once. It's just small steps that you can take towards a healthier lifestyle.
So do you have broccoli, lettuce?
Yes, I've got broccoli. I
tomatoes?
think I've got 5 different types of lettuce. I've got tomatoes,
word.
spinach, carrots.
What about
celery.
potatoes?
Okay, I don't have potatoes, but I don't.
That would be a good one.
Yeah, that would be a good one.
Thanks for that, Kerry. You got her.
But
Well-
yeah, it is a really nice way to, you know, get involved in your gardening, and you get an extra reward out of it.
Well, I think that's a wrap for us for all this week. Thank you so much, Nicole Rodell, who is here with us from African Climate Reality Project. That was your green update for this week on the Green Hookup Show. We'll see you next week, Nicole.
Okay, thanks for having me, and happy Valentine's Day.
Oh, reminding me again. We'll go to a short ad break and we'll be back in 2 ticks.
Are you an innovator and solution provider? The Innovation Hub is looking for entrepreneurs in the ICT, advanced manufacturing, bioeconomy, and the green economy sectors.
If you have an innovative prototype or startup business which addresses an existing market need and you're predominantly based in Gauteng, we invite you to apply for one of our incubation programs. For more information, visit theinnovationhub.com or call 012-844-0000. The Innovation Hub is a wholly owned subsidiary of the Gauteng Growth and Development Agency.
You're listening to brandlive.co.za.
And you're back on the Green Hookup Show with myself, Diane, and Kerry. Hi. So we joined in studio this morning by a gentleman by the name of James Steer. He arrived a bit early, ladies and gents. He found me in a very compromised position, which I will not talk about.
Neither will I.
Welcome to the show, James.
Thank you so much for having me.
So Vision has been in touch with you, and as far as possible, I try not to get involved in what the content is so that I can be really surprised and be really wowed by it. But to our listeners, James Steer, obviously every week we try to interview and meet with exciting entrepreneurs who have innovations in the sustainability space. Kerry knows my biggest passion is climate resilience more than climate change, climate solutions more than climate change. So what is this business of yours? I hear it's called something crazy. It's called iDrop. Not like the eye drop, not iGene. It's like I, as an
iPhone.
I, me, I, yes,
But
iDrop.
drop.
That's exactly right. I think the crazy name maybe matches the crazy idea.
What's
so-
it all about?
So
It's not eye drops.
Definitely not eye drops. No, we're trying to basically tackle the drinking water challenge all over Africa and around the world by combining interesting technologies. So the I stands for Internet, using the Internet of Things approach, and drop really refers to the water purification technology that we use.
So you've basically got a machine-to-machine technology for water?
Correct. And the cool thing about that is that it supports a really interesting business model. The technology we use it's a combination of really interesting tech on the water side and the GSM cell phone side. But the key is that the business model we've created opens up new ways to drive entrepreneurship, and that entrepreneurship is driving the sale of affordable, environmentally friendly drinking water all over Africa.
Wow.
So that's the reason we do it. We do it. It is cool. It's a nice thing to do, but really it enables and empowers us to drive this new business solution.
So break it down for us. Like, what exactly does this thing do? How does it work? Is it a lock and go solution, or what is it? Is it a little bundle I'm going to buy, like a startup bundle from
some water
Vodacom?
data.
So the idea really came about because I had a lot of travel in Africa. My background's in drinking water purification technology.
Because you did what before?
That was a previous life.
Okay.
A products company bringing in a type of water filter product. And so I traveled a lot around Africa. What I found which was frustrating, is that wherever I went, there was a grocery store, big or small, selling bottled water. And that comes at a high price, and it comes at an environmental cost. And yet people were prepared to buy it. So the idea came about to say, well, what if using those same channels to that consumer that obviously needs and wants a safe drinking water solution, what if we could change it on its head and use a product in store that would purify drinking water? Shoppers could buy it by the litre and pay a fraction of the price. It's more environmentally friendly because they're reusing their containers. But where that ties into our business model and where we are quite unique is that there's no point going into small grocery stores and trying to sell them a really expensive machine. These are small owner-run stores. So using the Internet of Things component and our filter technology, we now will install a machine, it's not much bigger than a small fridge, into their store at no cost. And we'll share ongoing revenue from the sales.
Wow.
We maintain all of the machines ourselves, we replace filters, and we can do that because remotely. So from my phone now, I can dial into a machine in Harare or anywhere in South Africa, and I can see exactly how it's working. Yeah. So
That's the
Feel like
Internet
we're in
of
the
Things.
future, hey?
We are in the future.
and the key though is that this is all driving a new type of business. So we are empowering that entrepreneur to provide the solution, and he or she is making revenue from literally providing a water source and selling.
Wow.
We're the experts in water. We take care of that. They're the experts in sales. They focus on that.
Wow. So, like, just talking about that food waste thing we were chatting with Nicole about.
Yes.
So, for example, in the Internet of Things, in this beautiful world called IoT, you are able to, for example, when your milk is about to expire or any of the food in the fridge is about to expire, it sends you like a little notification. So, you managing the water levels and the quality of water remotely.
Correct. So we can tell
It's
a huge
insane,
amount
right?
of data
It
through these
really
machines.
is.
Yeah.
Oh, my word.
We can tell quite a lot about the state of drinking water in different provinces, different cities. We've weirdly enough been able to predict a power failure in a part of East London because we get an alert through our machine. So there's all sorts of interesting things. But again, the key is to enable this business model. And as a result of what we do with these machines in store, we've lowered the price of a litre of safe drinking water in Mthatha or Mdansane or anywhere to R1 a litre.
Wow.
So how would it work? Would I walk into a shop with my bottle, my 1 litre bottle, and
Correct.
do it myself? Is it all self-service?
Exactly. So
Oh, my
the machine
word.
lives in the store. You'll bring our most common transaction size is 5 litres, which shows that people are buying to take home and use with the family or serve the family.
So you just pop your R5 coin in?
Actually, no, you pay the cashier.
It's not like a vending machine, darling. He said it's about the water, not about the money that is collected. You've got to pay attention.
I'm just trying to figure out how I would do it
You
if I
got to pay
walked
the
into
spaza
shop.
shop owner.
You're absolutely right. That's exactly how it works. So you bring your container
Okay.
and you fill it up and you pay by the litre. And that's how we remove the cost of the packaging, we purify on site, all the transport cost is removed.
That is
And that's how
amazing.
we can go 50-50 on that sale. So we take 50 cents that we invoice at the end of the month, and the shop owner really for just providing the solution makes 50 cents off a really small space in the store.
Love it.
This is
Love
seriously
it.
so cool.
I absolutely love it because this is that social entrepreneurship model we were talking about, like social enterprise, where business does good for the business, but also for the community. I love it. I'm a social capitalist at heart. I believe that it is possible to make a profit, to run a business, but also benefit the community. So you must have entered your innovation into many competitions, and Shivers Regal, they do that whole thing. I'm sure you are in there.
We actually won that for South
WWF.
Africa last year. We were
Oh, congratulations.
that was a huge thrill. We went to LA to represent South Africa, and we ended
Oh
up
my God, was
coming
it 2
joint-
years running?
joint third. This is I think the 4th year they've run this now. The 5th. It's been
Wow.
run. But a really exciting thing. But so we came joint third in the global competition last year.
Hashtag love it.
Hashtag
Hashtag
freaking
love
out.
it.
Needs a moment.
But yes, we do a lot of that because we're a small business. We're
Yeah.
sort of
You
scrapping
need
it
a
out. and-
platform. You need a
absolutely
platform.
right. Absolutely right. So to get the message across about drinking water, about better practices around drinking water, reducing single-use plastic waste. These things are part of our purpose and our values as a business. And so wherever we can get that out and spread that message, we do so. So these competitions are very helpful for that.
They are. And I mean, like a few years back when I started working in the space, I mean, people were like, why are you obsessed about water? And then it was like, why are you obsessed about renewables? And I keep saying, if South Africa had committed to 25% renewables by 2025, we'd be saving 6 billion litres of water a year. 6 billion
Billion?
litres of
Oh my
water.
word.
If we just had 25% renewables, because we're running so short on water, but we keep investing in more coal. It just doesn't make sense. So when I do hear about water solutions, I go ape. I do. I absolutely love it. But I have to ask, When you were growing up and you were a young boy, which is maybe like 10 years ago.
I wish it was.
So was this something that you always dreamed about doing, like making a difference in the world? Or did you think about getting a good job at government or in a bank? Or what were your aspirations growing up?
I wish I could give a simple answer on that. Interestingly, my path into this social entrepreneurship is through my wife. We met at business school.
Oh, she's a good woman. What's your wife's
She really
name?
is. Her name is Kate. I think
Kate, we love you.
So do
he
I,
got
Kate.
lucky. He
Happy
got lucky.
Happy Valentine's Day, Kate. But we met at business school, and we sort of business nerds. So we'd go on date night and talk about business. And when this idea came to me,
Date night. That's an idea. I don't have a Valentine's Day. Let's make it a business night.
Business date night.
Business date night.
there was a lot of overlap between those two. But we would discuss this, and I like to say the very first pitch I gave was to her about the business idea. She's got an amazing business sort of background, a really strong business person, and she then really broke it down and understood it, and we put the business model together. But she's the CEO of the business. We founded it together, left our jobs, and launched this.
We love you, Kate. We love you, Kate.
It was too good an idea at the time for us to pass by. I think there are few moments in life that present that, and we saw it, and we just had to go for it.
Love it.
Amazing.
So how long have you been doing this, and how far have you expanded, and which provinces have you touched? Obviously, you've been to East London, so you've spoken about Mtanzani, which is the second biggest township in the country. It's amazing that you've even gotten into those spaces. But where else can people find this product? And give us your contact details and your email address and all of that. We want people to know about
just
it.
going to stalk you.
So please do. We been around for about 2.5 years. We've really only started growing.
2.5 years and he's already won. I mean, really, guy.
That's probably largely due to Kate. So in fairness, we're now at a point where we're growing out aggressively. So we have about 60 of these machines in grocery stores around South Africa and Zimbabwe. We'll be in Botswana soon and hopefully Namibia. But this year is about growth all over South Africa. We actually, some very exciting news. We've just received some investment from a big global water company, which will help us with that growth. A company called Blue Water based in Sweden. And they really share our values.
They're very
and
green,
but just a really fantastic team of people we've enjoyed working with. And they want to, what's exciting for South African businesses, they see the opportunity and the innovation of what we've come up with and want to take it into other markets as well. So we're really excited about working with them. But our website, idropwater.com, that's IDROP water.com, is the place to start. And we love engaging with people. So get in touch by email. It's all available on the site, social media. And watch the space. We want to try and get into as many stores as we possibly can, as soon as we can. This is a critical need.
Absolutely. I'll tell you what really excites me. And again, like the Scandinavian countries is like a given. You are speaking to the converted when you go to any Scandinavian country in terms of sustainable solutions. But what I'd like to see, and this is my dream for you. Can I have a dream for someone else? I can. It's okay.
You can. Doesn't mean they have to follow it, but you can have it.
So my dream for this solution is across the continent of Africa. And you did mention going into these African countries. And for me, I think we have a lot of, we've got great policies in place in the country. I think we have probably the best policies, but our implementation sucks, to say the least. So I would say probably go to countries where the political will is so strong, equally strong in terms of the policy and implementation. A country, and again, I have to mention Rwanda. They've got the strongest policies, and their policies don't change for at least 30 years. It's not like when there's a change of minister or change of mayor that they change their decisions or projects. So that would be the one country that I'd love to do an introduction meeting for you with the High Commissioner of Rwanda.
We would love that. Thank you.
So he's completely passionate. I'm just saying the policies are strong, the implementation is strong. They're one of the first countries in Africa to have banned plastic bags, for example, for the last few years. But I think also there's an opportunity for you to engage with a company called Endeavour. It's a global NPO. Are you part of their program?
We actually are already. And they've been
great.
fantastic in introducing us all over. But, the great thing about how we've designed this business, we've already tested it in Ghana. We've designed it to
It's
scale.
a South African solution, guys. Can we just please have a This is exciting. It's a South African solution for Africa. Yay! Round of applause.
Yes.
I'm so
Amazing.
excited about it. So really, we want to hear more about what you're doing. This cannot be the last
No, we
interview.
need to follow you.
And we need to go
We need
find
to
and
know
see what
what's
this
going
thing
on.
looks like.
Yes, I want to get some water out of it. I've got to test it out.
Well,
You want water out of it, darling? We're talking about the machine. The machine to machine. That's what the solution is.
we'll talk afterwards about pointing you in the right direction, the closest machine here. Yeah.
So, and I just want to hear from you for the other entrepreneurs who are out there. And I mean, there are lots of them. Some people, and people don't often make the distinction. Some ideas are just ideas. other ideas are business ideas. What is your biggest advice you would give to someone who's probably sitting with a potential prototype of something and not quite sure where to start and how did you overcome those hurdles? What was the biggest lessons you've learned along the way?
Around anyone who has a prototype, my strong advice is to get it into the market and the consumers are going to use it as quickly as possible. You will never figure out everything that you need to know about how the product will be used, what the market needs by sitting at a desk and thinking. If you have something that people can work with, even informally, the story we have is our very first machine we installed over 2 years ago, and it broke the very next day.
So it's just MVP, you're saying minimal viable products. Put it out there.
Absolutely right. And the market will tell you what you need to fix. And every time you do that process, you improve the design and you fix that. We've gone through, we must be on about version well over 100 of our machine now in various components. And as a result, now we're ready to scale it out. And we know a lot about what really matters to our consumers. And that's vital. So don't wait too long. Try and, figure out early what you don't know and what you maybe haven't thought about, because the market is ruthless. They will tell you very quickly, and so don't wait. Go for it. It
love
is
that advice.
The other bit. It's not easy. This is all true. The stories about entrepreneurship. It's really tough going, but it is enormously rewarding. And we, Kate and I talk about having been cured of corporate life. The worst day we have here is better than the best day we had in a big job. So we absolutely love it.
Do you feel liberated?
Just inspired. It's fantastic, and to do something with a strong social purpose in particular, it really does fire us up and keep us going, because it's not easy, but it's a wonderful journey.
James, I'm so excited. I'm dying here. I'm absolutely dying. Just for one last thing, please remind our listeners where they can find you.
Best place to start is on our website, idropwater.com. It's idropwater.com. If you want to email us, info@idropwater.com. Or engage with us on social media. We're on Facebook, Twitter. Just search us for us on those platforms, and we're easily available. But we love to engage with our market and understand people's needs and how we can improve and do better. It's a conversation we're having about this issue.
James, you are a rock star.
Yeah,
oh my
seriously.
God, you are our rock
I feel
star
honored.
of the week. I'm completely inspired.
Yeah.
And we have to go to a short break. But James, thank you so much, and love to Kate. Happy Valentine's Day, Kate.
Happy Valentine's Day.
Thank you so much for having me.
We'll chat soon.
Thanks, James.
Making a bold statement yet blending into the surrounding suburbs of Melville, 27 Boxes is a realization of edgy design and practical implementation. A radical departure from the shopping malls of our generation, yet not a return to the high streets of our youth. 27 Boxes showcases the best of a shopping centre set in a garden, surrounded by the bohemian suburb that is Melville. 27 Boxes, shop, play, eat.
listening to brandlive.co.za.
And you're back with me, Diane and Kerry. We have Joey Rustin in the studio. Good morning, Joey.
Good morning.
Yo, I forgot I had earphones on. I was reading some tweets and then I just heard, oh wow, I'm in studio.
Joey, thank you so much for joining us today. We are so excited to have you with us.
Really?
We are.
Okay.
So let's just jump straight into it.
Yes.
What's going on with the Proteas? India's just slaughtering them. I had said to you before, India is my team. What on earth?
India is a better team
Thank you.
right now. So India has got all the bases covered. They have like the top 5 is like of the best batsmen in the world currently. Rohit Sharma, Virat Kohli, Shikhar Dhawan.
Shikhar Dhawan.
Yeah, Ajinkya Rahane. If Ajinkya Rahane had to play in the test matches, they would have won the test matches as well. So their top 6 is quite established. And then they have like 2 of the best wrist spin bowlers in the world. Chahal, yeah, he's been taking wickets in the IPL for a long time. And that new Yadav chap, he's quite young. And then also they have the experience of Dhoni as a wicketkeeper. And then they have Bhuvaneshwar Kumar, one of the most underrated all-rounders in the world. I guess South Africa, some of our key players is injured. And the players that actually...
That's a nice excuse, Joey. Some of our best players are injured. It's a team sport.
Key players. Key players. So Faf du Plessis was injured. Quinton de Kock is injured. And over the past couple of years in ODI cricket, Quinton de Kock and Faf du Plessis won lots of games for us. So they were injured. Heinrich Klaassen came through on Saturday in a pink ODI. So that was a good sign. Him and Andile Petlekwayo. Andile Petlekwayo actually bowled very well last night. Yeah, and then Kagiso Rabada didn't have that backing. Lungengidi is...
Coming up, huh?
Yeah. So it's just the experience of India and they playing as a unit for a longer time. They've been the best in the world in their own country for a long time. And then, so they know each other, they feed off each other. Whereas in South Africa, you must know there's a new top order, a new captain, Aiden Markram. Hashim Amla, he was a bit... out of form.
Sometimes he plays like a test player in an ODI match. Sometimes.
Not actually. He's got a strike rate that's better than most of the people in the world. He's like his average is 50, above 50, and his strike rate is about 98. And people, because he's Hashim Amla, they look past those stats. Because he's not a slugger. He's not a slugger. He's not a. If you know about cricket, you would know. But if you don't, and then you're gonna.
Okay, I must be honest. Like he's a great cricketer, all of that, but he's probably one of the most boring players for me to watch.
I feel the same.
Yeah,
he's not a Herschel Gibbs.
Yeah.
Flair,
okay.
Charisma.
He's just like always calm.
You guys are giving your ignorance away.
Look, I follow
as a classical cricketer, as a classical batsman, Hashim Amla is the best to watch. He's not a slugger like Lance Klusener. He's not. He's not. He doesn't need to hit the ball over the boundary. It's sheer timing. So there's no. So if you're a cricket purist, then you'll know. But if you just this T20 people, and then you're gonna say Hashim Amla.
I'm not just a T20 person. I'm just saying. Maybe it's his personality. Maybe he's just too subdued.
Yes.
Maybe he's too calm.
It's like
he's a classy
calm.
player, no doubt. He's a classy player. But I'm just saying.
So what's wrong with calmness?
We need some chias.
Yes, man.
How so?
Like Sachin Tendulkar was probably the classiest player ever in the world to have lived.
But he was calm.
But he was never boring to watch.
Hashim Amla's not boring to watch. Point of reference.
We're going back to the point of reference.
Yeah, so point of reference. So because of your point of reference, you think and believe that Hashim Amla is boring to watch.
For me?
Yes, for you. So I'm trying to explain to you that there's a certain type of people that likes cricket and watch cricket for a long time, that Hashim Amla is sheer timing, sheer balance, grace. He doesn't need to hit the ball as hard. So Tendulkar was exactly the same, basically. So now it's like, because it's Hashim Amla, and if you look at certain shots Tendulkar played and certain shots Hashim Amla is currently playing, it's totally on par.
Jacques Kallis was also boring for me.
Yeah, but he was a classical cricket batsman. So if you had to write a cricket manual as to how to play the game, Jacques Kallis would be a perfect example. If you had to write a classic example how not to play, is Mahendra Singh Dhoni.
With his helicopter shots.
Helicopter shots and stuff and cross batting and this and Stephen Smith from Australia, exactly the same thing. They don't have classical textbook cricket shots. But obviously, if you're not a purist, a cricket purist,
Clearly
then
I'm not.
We're just looking for the gears.
Clearly I'm not. But
There's
now
a difference in gears. Moin Ali and gears. It's like, how do you define gears?
what is your version of Gears?
Eh,
Just give me something. I'm just saying.
Yeah.
My version
connect
of
with me.
Gears,
Yeah.
my version of Gears is perfectly described and attributed to Hashim Amla, Moeen Ali. Is like these guys, they don't try and get into the next player's face because they're there to play the game. They don't try to become controversial. They go there, do their job, and leave. There's no unnecessary bull like Virat Kohli.
But I love that. Like Yuvraj Singh also. I'm just saying.
Yeah, but even Yuvraj Singh was one of those guys that did his job. He didn't had lots to say. He did his job, hit sixes and finish. Bowled, finish. Not Virat Kohli, you are a bad batsman. Bhuvaneshwar Kumar is a great example of what Gears is all about.
Yeah, but I dig him. Here comes your coffee.
I said foam.
We
and
asked for foam, not cream.
it's fine, I'll have the cream. Don't worry.
Is it
Yeah.
not part of your diet? I'm on a strict eating plan now, Joey.
Yeah, there's this thing called sugar. It's very bad.
No,
Take
no
it
sugar,
away.
thank you. So this obsession with cricket, like I also grew up watching cricket, okay?
Yes.
All my
I
life.
play. I still play.
You play.
I still play.
You play.
Do you play on a full club?
Yes.
And you are what? Batsman,
A
bowler?
batsman.
Hey.
And I bowled. And I bowl.
Are you a fast bowler, spin bowler?
I don't know. Like, see what you can do, bowler.
And do you have gears when you play?
Gears, I just described now what gears is. It's like people heckle me all the time when I'm on the field. It's like, you're a comedian. Oh, so people that know I play cricket won't chirp me. But people that don't know I play cricket has got the biggest mouths and they're the most useless people on the field. And you're like, dude, keep quiet, brah. Like most of my best friends is cricketers or soccer players. You know.
Oh, okay.
Garnet Kruger, Shah Langeveld, Justin Ontong, who's now the fielding coach. I play with Dane Clayt, Munif Josephs.
No?
Yeah, they're all in my team now.
Hey.
Yeah.
So Joey, so you've always loved cricket.
Yes.
Was it a thing growing up? What was it?
So-
are you a purist? Clearly you are.
Yeah, I am. So if you go to the Wanderers Stadium right now and go to the memorial stand, and then you'll see all these pictures of all these old people, administrators and cricket players, and you'll see my great-grandfather's picture there.
No.
Yes. G.S. Rasdin.
Yay!
Go see. And he looks more like me than I look like Mark Lottering.
Private joke, guys. It was a thing on the side. We had a huge debate about it. Points of reference.
I actually look more like Peter de Villiers than Mark Lottering. Is that the cricket? I like cricket so much that DJ is actually playing a cricket.
Lucky for you, it's only cricket today.
Huh?
Leave the rugby for another day.
Yeah, no, rugby. I like rugby, but cricket is more my passion.
So you are not only a ballet dad, you're also a dad to a son. Is he
Yeah.
into cricket as you are?
Yeah, it's cricket.
He hates it. What does he like?
He does rowing.
Rowing.
Oh.
Yeah,
At his school?
at his school, yeah. He's at Cairns.
And how old is he now?
He's going to be 16.
16, Joey. When did that happen?
Last,
my God.
last.
You are the father of a 16-year-old boy.
Yes.
He's in the throes of adolescence.
Yes.
And you have not gone as grey as I have. What are you doing that I am not doing?
He's been with me my entire life. You should know.
I know. Joey
Like I
loves
was
his boy.
I was like his mother and his father at the same time.
You were.
So
So there was one prank that was played on you.
yeah, that was a long time ago. Let's not go there.
Joey loves his son. Joey's totally like the world's best father. He wins awards year after year.
Please.
But he's also a ballet dad. Have you learned how to pirouette and plie? And
yes.
your daughter
First
just
position.
your daughter has you by the knuckles or by the nuts. Your
Yeah.
daughter has you. Huh?
Yes.
How old is she now?
6.
And how long is she doing ballet?
She's been doing ballet for 3 years now, but this year she's not doing ballet. This year she's doing gymnastics.
So now you're a gymnastics dad.
Yeah, so she's doing gymnastics and she's swimming, and she's doing this thing called dance mouse.
Dance mouse, not
What is that?
It's like this hip hop dancing. Fine.
Joey, is she gyrating? You cannot let her become another Beyonce. please.
No, she actually wants to become an opera singing pilot.
She's only just set her ambitions higher. You're
I don't know.
encouraging her. You're
An
encouraging her.
opera
She
singing
chills-
pilot.
Yeah, she chills with her brother often. So
And your son, what are his aspirations?
I don't know. My son, he is very strange. It's like he's doing art, maths, and science together,
Wow.
and he makes like movies on the side, and yeah.
Yeah, we grew up in a different time. These kids have so many things. They have access to so many
Yeah.
things to be able to have those options. And isn't that the best thing about growing up in the country now?
I just want to lift the mic higher so that I can sit upright, so that my position for my spine is proper. I was bending down.
So that's also got to do with your core strength, isn't it?
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah.
So that's one of the issues that I've got. Let's not go down that road right now.
Sugar.
I don't do sugar. I
Pap.
don't do sugar.
Pap.
No
Skip-
pap. No
let's skip
pap.
the pap.
What do you eat?
I eat stuff that is oil free mostly, and I drink lots of water, and I don't eat sugar at all. And if I eat bread or what's this other thing? Oh, any starch, it's like maybe twice a week.
Is it?
Mm.
See, like I was struggling with that, right? I've been on this healthy program now for 4 weeks. My
Yes.
biggest thing was, oh my God, how do I stay away from curry and basmati rice? How do I stay away from rotis?
Yeah, but basmati rice is alright. Curry, rotis like naan. That's good starch.
Really?
Yeah, rogni naan, garlic naan.
Ruchi with the butter. And all.
No, rogni naan, like with the Pakistani sell here in Fordsburg. That's good starch.
Oh, good.
That is good news, hey?
Now I know what I can do.
Because there's
Made
no,
of pea flour, isn't it?
yeah, it's made of, and there's no oil in
Oil
it.
in it.
Yeah, it's like baked in a tandoori oven. So yeah, that's cool. And then there's this lafas from the Turkish people, and then they
Where do you find the Turkish people? They're all in Fordsburg.
everything is in Fordsburg system. It's like
The Pakistanis, the Turks.
ISIS.
He didn't just say that. He didn't just say that. We're not a
Ice
target.
cream, ice cream. I said ice cream.
Reference.
I said ice cream. I said ice
So,
cream.
Joe, here's the thing that a lot of people don't know about you.
Yes.
I'm not going to shock you. I'm
Yes.
not going to shock too many
Yes.
people, but I think a lot of people don't know
Yes.
that your background was in finances, of all things.
What?
Yes.
I didn't know that.
Tell us a bit about that.
Yeah, a point of reference. So it's you know because you know me for 20 years.
Okay. But say it.
No, you know me. No, you know me for long. Yes, my background was in finances. I worked at Alexander Forbes and Old Mutual. I was a financial advisor at Old Mutual, and I was a fund manager at Alexander Forbes.
A
So
fund
what was
manager.
the changeover?
Why do normally people change stuff?
Because they're not happy?
Thank you.
And this, it must have been a leap for people who knew you.
No,
Not a
not-
huge leap because you're so.
Not really. It's like at the time there wasn't a comedy industry, and I thought that to myself that yeah, we have an opportunity to start, create something that we can leave a legacy with, and so far so good, eh?
No,
When
so
we
far, so
started,
good.
there was nothing. Now
Yeah.
there's a huge platform.
Yeah, and there's like so many people coming up through the ranks.
Yes.
And also, what I found is that a lot of people in that comedic space or stand-up comedian space, they pull out stuff from a dark place.
Yes. Because I speak about, like, we all have this responsibility as social commentators to change people's perception about what they think is true. That point of reference at times. Cognitive dissonance.
Yeah.
You see, when
He's using big words here. Cognitive dissonance. Cognitive dissonance.
do you know what's cognitive dissonance? So Kerry won't know what's
No,
cognitive.
I don't know what it is.
So
you
when,
need to educate me.
So when Galileo Galilei at the time said the world is round, everybody at the time believed the world is flat. So he came with new information that not only challenged their information, but his information was true. And the people, because their minds couldn't fathom as to how did he come up with it and why he's saying it, that emotion is called cognitive dissonance. And that emotion makes your heart angry. And the only way you can respond with anger in your heart is with violence, with aggression. And they called him a heretic. But later he came to prove that actually the world is round. So at the time, it was cognitive dissonance to the people there. So what you believe and what I believe in right now might not be the right thing. unless somebody comes with a new proof. Like when Nicholas Copernicus said the world is not the center of the earth. I mean, the earth is not the center of the universe.
Yeah.
It's the sun that's the center of our own solar system. There's other solar systems in the galaxy. Again, people was like, cognitively dissonant. They couldn't understand that. And you can only better yourself as a person if you understand that emotion that you're going through is cognitively dissonant to you, and then be prepared to look for more information to understand why that person is saying that. Unfortunately, as I said earlier, in South Africa specifically, we are so self-righteous, we don't even show empathy to the next person's way of thinking, let alone understanding why he's thinking the way he's thinking. And then all we do is criticize, attack, and that's why there's a political crisis right now. That's why the Guptas is getting arrested as we speak.
Well, that brings me to the one thing I wanted to ask you or talk to you about. Your State of the Nation address.
Yes.
What would it be now? What do you want to hear coming out of it?
Yeah, I would want to hear that the free education module. I would want to hear that how that's going to work. There is
Free tertiary education?
Yeah,
That's the one you're talking about?
The free tertiary education. How's that going to work? Where's that budget going to come from? And how you're going to apply and what's the rules of that? And
who pays for it? Is it going to be our
there is
taxes?
budget. There is budget for it. It's
There
just
is?
there is. It's just the way we allocate it. So for me, two of the most important things is education and health. Like if you take care of people's education and if you take care of their health, and then harmony will remain, and then you don't need people to get policed. You don't need people to, and then in that way, also poverty in itself will
It
sort
levels
out.
the planes, right? I always
Yeah.
say education just
Yeah.
levels the planes. It gives
So-
everybody a chance.
Yes, so that's the whole point. How do you give people a chance? By giving them a grant or by giving them education?
Education, 100%.
How do you give people a chance? Like, if a person is dying, how do you give that person a chance? By sending him to a hospital that can fix him, for instance. So that's the whole point. How do you give the citizens of the world a chance? By certain basic rights. And one of the basic rights is education. One of the other one is health. And then obviously we have a water crisis. But if you have education, then you'll understand how to use water. We have certain other crises. But the unfortunate thing is, again, that self-righteousness and invalidating people's feelings. So obviously there's a person coming from DRC in South Africa. That person come from a war-torn country. He did not have half of or a quarter of the stuff we have. So that's why you see these security guards here that's walking around and speaking French. That's like heaven for them. So how can we create a heaven for our own people? And two basic things, your education and then your health system. Then there's other controversial stuff like land and other controversial stuff like how are we going to bring up the imbalances of the past? Because people say it's 24 years in apartheid. Mandela was 27 years in prison. We're only 24 years into our democracy. He spent 27 years in prison. So he spent more time in prison than we are in our democracy. Yet these people say, why don't you get over apartheid?
100%. And I think that's the biggest thing, right?
So sorry to break
go,
your word.
go,
No, say that's the biggest thing. That's here.
No, so I was just going to say that this is the thing, and people joke about it, right? When you say apartheid was bad, and then generally the comedy is like, no, like let's stop talking about apartheid. But when you talk about BEE and affirmative action, then people want to talk about the inequalities and that kind of thing. So I think and I'll always say, like with Kiri and myself, we'll say, it's important that we have uncomfortable conversations,
Yes.
that we can speak freely and
And
say
it's
how
not.
we feel.
That's cognitively dissonant. That's why it's uncomfortable.
Yeah.
That's why it's uncomfortable.
But I think it's so important. Like, I mean, I'd approached these chicks one time. I was at a pub, and it's 3 or 4 young black mothers. And I said, like, we were just chatting, and I said, how many white friends do your kids have? Was it only like in your community and in your... And that's the thing. We've got to be deliberate about engaging each other.
Yeah, it's
Otherwise,
fine.
we'll raise our kids the same way that we were raised.
The thing about it is, Albert Einstein said a quote.
He remembers many quotes,
Yeah.
man. What's up with this guy?
No.
You're too
it's-
smart for us, man. I'm also trying to remember things. Come,
No.
give it to us.
What I'm trying to explain is that you can't like, and it's said all the time, is just because apartheid is over doesn't mean racism is over.
Sure,
That's the
stop.
first point. The second point is, the sooner certain people realize that they have a certain advantage, they had advantage. They might have to go to work for what they have, but that work is an advantage.
Yeah.
The sooner people realize that,
Yeah.
like that's why I like these guys of Capitec. So I have this theory, and I don't know if it's true, but I have this theory that these two guys that started Capitec, they come from old money. So they come from, are they Afrikaans boys that come from
Yes.
Boerebond
Yes,
money?
they are.
Right? So, and they were like, how can we make a difference in South Africa without being too in the public eye? So they like, look, we're gonna start something where we can use our old money as because now Viceroy came and said their loan book is too high, they have to re-borrow money, or they have to. So these guys don't need to borrow money because they have all
It's
this.
their own money.
Yeah, they have
Yeah.
all this, and in that way they're making a difference. So Capitec is like the best bank for people in a certain LSM group, and let's be honest, black people or colored people that comes from poor areas. If it wasn't for Capitec, they would not have certain things.
They would not be banked.
Yeah,
Yeah.
they would not be banked. Firstly,
So here's the history of Capitec, right? So
Yeah.
how they started was they started as a loan, like a micro loan
Yes.
business, okay? So they were running for quite a long period of time, and then they had 40. It was just branching out and branching out. They then, this group of people, of which Gianni Maton was one, then approached a particular person who said, listen, this is what we've got, but now this thing is growing too fast. What is it? He said, give me 3 months. The guy comes back and says, you have a bank. There's a banking license floating around that no one has snatched up. And that's how the business started. So
Wow.
the first
see, I didn't know that.
So the first port of call was, we're going to bank the unbankable. But he said, and everything that has evolved inside Capitec since they started was part of the original plan. It's insane.
You see,
The only thing that was different was they never anticipated that the middle class, even white market, would buy into Capitec as fast, as quick as they did.
Yes, yes.
So everything about the business model was a well thought out plan from the beginning.
but it comes from a good place in their heart.
And it was their own money. It was the only bank
Exactly.
in the country started with
Was
their
it their
own
own money?
Their
Yeah,
own
and
money.
it's still their own money, so they
Still their
don't
own
need
money.
to. So all these calculations is like, where are they gonna get this?
Yeah.
They don't need to make loans. They don't need to go and borrow money to. So they have their own.
And this is their model. Their model is that the risk stops at the door.
Yes,
So they say, and from the
and
beginning,
indirectly, sorry,
Yeah,
they're
go.
making a difference in their own way
Yeah.
by fixing the errors of the past.
100%. But also what I like about the bank, they're going to get so much airtime,
Yeah.
play from us. But the great thing is that they've got these personal loans which you can take, right? So they don't have a business account, but you can take that money and start a business with it. I mean,
Yeah.
they've got it, it's up to $250,000. You can take out a personal loan.
Yes.
Yeah.
You can buy a home. You can
Yes.
buy a car. For me, it's again an instance where they're leveling the plains.
Yes.
They're making it possible for everybody.
That chance.
Yeah.
So we all need that chance. So in cricket, same thing. in
Hashim Amla needs
Yeah.
a chance from me.
He needs a chance.
Hashim Amla actually
He doesn't need my chance.
he doesn't. He's, as far as he's concerned, I wouldn't be surprised if he retires in the next 2 years because I think he achieved what he wanted to achieve. I think he'll retire after the World Cup. But coming back to the State of a Nation address, it's extremely important that everybody gets educated. It's extremely important that everybody is healthy. That's the two most important things. And then it's also extremely important that certain people in our country understand, recognize, and own their privilege.
Yeah, 100%.
If that does not happen, we're not going to go anywhere.
I don't know if you saw that video.
That's why in Germany, the children, since small, are taught about what the Nazis did. And they own it.
And it's ingrained.
And it's ingrained. The Nazis did this, and this, and this, and we will never do this. This, and they own it. And, so we're not saying, again, there's this, and it's been said all over social media, it's been said I said this like maybe 20 years ago, is that you can't forgive people that did not ask for forgiveness.
100%. 100%.
And that's, and so if people don't ask for forgiveness, they act in a certain way.
Yeah.
They think there's certain things that they can do. There's
Yeah.
certain things that they can say. Whereas if they truly understood what they did or where the buck stops, and then they'll understand that shit. I'm sorry. Then I understand that, look here, it's not enough to get married to a person of my different race. It's not enough to have Indian or black friends. It's not enough to make my children hang out with other children. Because that's just a start of a point of reference. We need to create an entirely new point of reference, a new identity, a South African identity.
That's what's important, and that's that video. I don't know if you've seen it.
I've seen it.
Where
With
they
the
line
guys.
up. Yeah.
Yeah.
Have you seen that
Yeah,
video?
where the coach says, step forward if you
Yeah.
whatever, and then
Yeah.
they race.
And I think
Yes.
it's the most beautiful
Privilege.
illustration of what privilege is. And this is how it comes across, right? So like, and Kerry knows, we'll hang out in a place, blah, 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 and then the waiter will come and they say, oh, he speaks such good English.
Again, it's point of reference. It's point of reference.
God, he's not, I can't hear what he's saying. So it's those kind of little
It's just-
things where
yeah.
people don't know just how offensive it can be because of their point of reference.
Yes. Yes. So instead of making unnecessary comments like that, why don't you just stick to what you need to do? And that is what Hashim Amla and Sachin Tendulkar stick what you need to do.
Yeah.
And then and do that job well. And once you do that job well, it's like, and then other people will gravitate towards you and go, oh wow, that's how religions were started. You know, Jesus Christ was a great person. Muhammad, great
You were
people.
going to say Muhammad Ali. I heard
No,
you now.
I said Muhammad.
Gandhi.
I wanted to say Muhammad, peace be upon him.
Okay.
Yes.
Okay. I thought you were going to say Muhammad Ali.
Yeah.
But now listen, coming back to that health issue, I'm happy that you mentioned the health issue. Like, I tried to bring this doctor from India a few years back and tried to get people just to cover the costs just for the flights and accommodation. So he's got this beautiful Robin Hood model in India. It's
Yes.
like, it's in
I know exactly what you're talking
Bangalore,
about.
I think it is.
Yeah.
And his basically Robin Hood model says that we've got economies of scale. So we do, as opposed to a hospital in the States where they do 10 major heart operations in a month, they're doing 20 in a week. So they reduce the cost. But what the rich people or the people who can afford it, they basically subsidize the poor. They've got a policy of not turning anyone away, Kiri. No person is ever turned away at that hospital, no matter how poor you are. So it's like a
That's
person from Cosmo
amazing.
City going to like a Life Hospital in Four Ways because it's covered.
Yeah.
So
You
I
see
think
that, yeah. So people that pay medical aid
Yeah.
indirectly do that already.
yes,
Because if you pay 3,000 rands worth of medical aid, you get sick once every 3 years. And then there's other people that need heart transplants. So you subsidize those people already.
Yeah.
So who's making the difference of that money? That's the medical aid company.
Yeah.
So it's a medical aid company's responsibility then to shift that away, if
Yeah.
that makes sense.
Yes.
So that model that guy's been, nobody gets turned away.
yeah.
And that should be the health system.
In the
'Cause
country.
in
But
the
do you know,
country-
I could not find, I called to Limpopo, I called
Yeah.
every single hospital, right? Do you know that there's not one heart doctor in all of Limpopo?
Oh,
so I said, so
wow.
what do people do? So I phoned the hospital, I speak to these different people. So
No
what do people do?
cardiologist.
No cardiologist, no cardiothoracic surgeon. So if they can't afford to come to Joburg, to come to a Joburg hospital, they've got to wait to die. And
Are you
that's what they said
serious?
to me. That's what our health system is. That's
And nobody
only
makes
one
a plan
province.
for them.
There's no cardiothoracic surgeon. There's no
See how
heart doctor.
important
Nobody
it is.
says, let me put you
No.
on some transport
So you've
to
got
Joburg.
so you've got to find your way. So it could be a 300, 400 rand trip on a taxi one way. Then you've got to sit and wait in a queue for like 7 days, and you're sitting in a hospital, right? There are no beds, so you've just got to wait your turn. So the education and the health thing is so critical. What are your parting words to our departing president?
Yeah, agreed. Agreed is. Can I swear?
You can. Go ahead.
Nah. Yeah, you know, our president, he like the conflict in Burundi ended because of him. The 1994, prior to elections, the conflict between Inkatha and ANC in KwaZulu-Natal that could have sent us into a civil war ended because of him. There's so much people, he did so much things. However, unfortunately, point of reference again, and has been influenced by certain people. People are under the false sense of security that it's only the Guptas that influenced the president and captured the state. Where do you think the Oppenheimers made their money? Where do you think the Dutch East Indian Company is so rich? The Dutch East Indian Company is actually the most successful business ever. You can take Apple, you can take Elon Musk, you can take Bill Gates, you can Facebook, all of them together the Dutch East Indian Company financial statements is like still 300% more than all those companies put together. So
We're
you
talking
can
trillions.
trillions,
Bajillions.
gajillions, 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 the gajillions. And how did that come about? State capture. So the
Have you read the book Apartheid, Guns and Money?
No, not yet.
You have to get that book. That book sets up Jacques Pauw's book, okay?
Oh,
It shows you how deeply entrenched these state capture deals happened. You know, and the book basically, and it's beautifully written by Henny van Vieren, saying, listen.
Oh, I know Henny van Vieren.
Yeah, he's written many other books, but this book sets
yeah,
it up
but
to
he's
show
one
you-
of those. He's one of the few guys that understand taking responsibility for your.
100%.
There is guys like.
Was that a knockout? Can we hear that again? Oh my God, was that for Joey? For Henny? No, it wasn't.
No, yeah, he's one of the few guys. There's now a critical mass of white guys, especially in social media, that understand what is needed from the previously
From the
advantaged-
generation,
yeah,
yes.
advantaged
Yeah.
people.
But he contextualizes it so beautifully. It's like we've come into a space where we start to associate a black government with a corrupt government. When in reality, it has existed for ages. Like if you read, and the names that are mentioned in this book, where they talk about like Mnet and DSTV
Yeah,
and
Koos
MultiChoice
Becker.
and the Monopoly,
Carl
Ton
Fisher.
Vosloo, God,
Yeah.
it's insane. But coming back to your point, your parting words to Jay-Z.
Yeah, I don't know. I you know, for even silence is an answer.
You know, when a woman is angry,
For
when a
even
woman is
silence.
angry, silence
Go-
is a real answer.
Yeah.
Imam Shafi'i said, "You can say whatever you want to about me, for even my silence is an answer, because it does not befit a lion to answer to dogs."
Joey, repeat that. I'm going to use that. That's going to be the little thing I'm going to post. Say it again.
No, man.
Say it again, man. I want to memorize it. Or you're going to change the words now?
No.
Say it again.
No.
I want to keep it
Just
as
say
a
it,
clip.
just say it slow. One more time. So Diane can grip it.
No, you can say whatever you want to against me, for even my silence is an answer. It does not befit a lion to answer to dogs.
Round of applause. I love it. That is amazing.
Thank you.
I will use that as often as I can.
This is not
remember
for
it.
Zuma.
Okay,
this
on
is for everybody
On
else.
that point of reference, so what is
Yeah.
your star sign? Are you Leo?
No, I'm a Taurus.
So Joey, wait, let's do this quick quiz with you, right?
Yes.
So it's a psych test, but
Yes.
just answer it as truthfully as you
Yes,
can. Don't
wait,
think
I
too
just
long.
wanna, before I forget this, we are all well advised to look at our own shortcomings, shortfalls, and sins than concentrating on somebody else's.
Lydia,
that's
you
my-
is without the
Yes!
cast the first tone.
Yeah, you
There's
can
my
Bible.
one.
You can
I know.
Bible. You can Bible. Can you fathom the mysteries of God? Can you probe the limits of the Almighty?
Cool.
Sorry. Yes.
So, quick question. You have a box. Describe your box. How big is your box? Where's your box in your room?
A box in my room.
You've got a box. Describe your box. Is it big? Is it small? Is it cardboard? Is
yeah.
it wood? Is it steel?
My box is invisible, and outside only I can see the words written comedy, and then I got into it.
Oh, okay. So you have flowers. Okay. You have
was
flowers.
creative.
Yeah.
You have flowers.
Yeah,
How
yeah.
many flowers?
I can't count these specific type of flowers because it's all different carnations, roses, daisies, and they all have
And how close is those flowers to your box?
my flower. It's in the box because my box is invisible, so you can see through the box to the flowers.
Okay. And then you have a mirror. How big is your mirror?
Yes, my mirror is extremely big. My mirror can actually see. You can only see the box when you look into the mirror, and you'll see the reflection of the box in the mirror.
Lekker. So then you've got a horse.
Yes,
Describe your horse.
he's got a big horn in front.
So
you got a unicorn.
Magical.
Is that I
I don't know. That's a unicorn if you've got a
Yeah.
horn in front.
thought it's a okapi, but it's
Okay, so is your horse outside the room? Where's your horse? How often do you see your horse?
my horse only comes when it's needed,
Okay.
and he's got wings and he can fly.
Okay, it's a real
Ooh,
unicorn.
I love your horse.
Yeah.
Okay, and then
it's a
you've got-
burak.
It's a burak.
A burak. Go Google it.
Okay, is it one of those uncommon ones, those rare ones that look like gold almost?
No, it's a mythical creature. Mythical creature.
Oh, almost like Barack Obama.
It's like Burak. Yeah, Barack's name is from there.
Okay, so I thought it was Barakat actually. That's
Barakat is, you know what's Barakat, the meaning
Yeah,
of
it's a
Barakat?
gift,
Blessings.
isn't it? Yeah,
Yeah,
it's a gift.
blessings.
Okay, so then you've got a ladder. How big is your ladder?
I don't need a ladder, so
You
I don't have a
need
ladder.
You don't have a ladder.
Yeah.
Cool. And then there's a storm in your room.
Yes.
Describe the storm and how you feel about the storm.
She's extremely beautiful. She's actually Miss Universe from Galaxy 533.
Okay, so let me give you what the breakdown is. Here's
Yeah.
my own interpretation. Okay,
Yeah.
I'm not like a CEO or what.
Yeah.
Your box is a combination of your ego, your self-esteem, and your personality.
Yes, okay.
So your box is hidden
Yes.
because nobody can see it. You see it, right? It's
You can look in a
invisible.
mirror.
Yeah, you
Only,
have to
but
look in the
hold on.
mirror.
Yeah.
We'll get to the mirror, and then you've got the flowers.
Yeah.
So the flowers represent people in your life, and you
Yeah.
see you've got different types, but they're all inside your box. So
Yes.
these people are people that you hold
Yes.
dear.
Oh, wow.
Then you've got a mirror. It's your capacity to reflect
Yes.
and look inwardly.
Oh, wow.
And you said you can only see the box and the flowers that are inside when there is reflection. So you do a lot of introspection because yours is more
Yeah.
Yes.
as far as you're not described.
Oh, wow.
Then you've got this horse, which is representative of your significant other. So your significant other is magical. I cannot wait to meet. Okay.
Yeah.
I don't
With
have
wings. Well, that's the one. That's the
She's
one you're
coming
looking
from
for.
another planet.
And she's coming from Galaxy. What was it? 533.
533.
Then the ladder is representative of your ambitions. You've clearly arrived. You've achieved. You are very comfortable with where you are at.
Oh,
you
wow.
don't have this constant striving and blah, blah, blah. You don't have any of that. The storm in your life is representative of struggles and obstacles that come.
Yeah.
For you, it's a beautiful thing. You've just
Oh,
become
wow.
comfortable with it.
Fuck.
You were saying it's Miss Universe,
something.
Galaxy 533. So when struggles and problems come into your life, it's a beautiful thing for you. You don't get stressed out by it. Last question. There's a light in your room.
Yes. I don't know how to answer that now.
Where's the light? Where's it coming from? Is it big? Is it small? Is
My
it what?
light comes from here, from my inside.
That's
I
a
don't-
good one. So that's your spirituality. So like you're driven by what you feel on the inside. It's your spirit. It's your
Yeah.
it's your light and your saving
Yo, you
grace.
guys
So-
try to trick me here.
No, I didn't try to trick you.
For a second, you've done this before.
I didn't.
No. So
I
that-
didn't.
Yeah, they sounded well thought out, those answers.
Okay.
So I should have done it with Kerry before. Now she's heard the whole thing. But
No, well
literally,
thought. No, but all my
when I've
answers
done
is
it-
normally well thought. It's
when-
very true though.
So when I've done this test, every single time it's been spot on. Can you believe it?
So I'll tell you how what you just described is this thing called Johari's window. So in Johari's window, there's 4 window panes, and each window pane represents a certain sphere in your life, and it depends on which window pane you want the biggest. That's gonna depend on how you feel as a person.
Yeah. No,
You know-
Joey, it was great chatting to you.
Yeah, I've been
We
very
want you back in
educated,
again.
I must say. I learned
So I'm not
words,
a
I
cuck
learned quotes.
He's
I
asking.
learned a lot.
He's asking. He's not a kaka.
No, you're not cuck.
Sorry if I came across a bit aggressive earlier.
No, you're
No,
not
no, no.
cuck.
But Joey, you will come and join us again next time. We want to hear from your son. We want
Yes.
him in studio. We want to hear
Um,
about his dreams.
Yo, my son is even more a thinker that I am. I swear, my son is a bigger thinker than I am. I'm very proud that he thinks the way he thinks because it's
And that's all you, eh? Like
So, yeah.
big ups to Joey.
But
Like
we have to ask you one question.
okay.
that's his thing.
Oh my goodness. How Beulah is this child?
He's like, oh,
Beulah.
Doll.
that's
You did that. And with a 6-pack nogal.
and that's my daughter. Him and my
He's
daughter.
showing me pictures. Come see. What a beautiful child, man.
That's my daughter and that's my son.
I can't believe your
Huge
son
age
just
gap,
became
eh?
16.
Oh, look at that. Oh, beautiful.
Beulah.
Oh, now he's hiding his phone.
Guys, we're going to a short break and we'll be back to wrap the show. Joey, it was great.
Thank you
It
for
was real.
having me.
Thanks, Joey.
Lekker.
I'm going to go fetch my daughter now.
Such a good dad.
Brandlive.co.za.
In your face, all over the place. We're online 24/7. 24/7. You're listening to the hottest internet station.
Brand Live.
No doubt.
This nation should commit itself to achieving the goal before this decade is out
brandlive.co.za. Harnessing the power of talk radio. brandlive.co.za.
And you're back with me, Diane and Kerry, on the Green Hookup Show. And we have someone on the line who's been waiting very patiently for us. Fariwa Sanyika, you are a travel blogger. Welcome to the show.
Hello.
Thank you for having me.
Oh, awesome. Thank you so much for waiting for us. Our show is running a bit over time. We had an exciting guest in studio. Thank you so much. So, Fariwa, you are covering our local is so lekker spot this week. And we want to hear from you. Like, first of all, tell us what you do. Like, what does a travel blogger do? Of course, you travel and you blog. But what does your typical day, your typical week, your typical month look like?
Okay, so I travel blog. But then at the same time, I have a full-time job. So my travel blogging is my passion. So that's what I do in my free time.
So,
and basically what it entails is just like, for me, it's about seeing as much of South Africa as possible and encouraging young people to do the same thing.
So you are basically telling us, myself and Kerry and Connie, who's in studio with us at the moment, you're basically saying that you are living the dream because you have a job and you get to travel.
Please explain to me how you do that with a full-time job.
Well, I make the most of my weekends, and I plan my year out from the very beginning, and I make sure that I make the most out of all the public holidays, and I use my leave days only to do fun things. So I don't take leave days to just like chill at home.
No. Like you're speaking to someone who's a little bit further away from the calendar in terms of days of the month. I'm like at that space in my life, and Kerry is a lot younger. You say you plan your year ahead.
Yeah, that's crazy.
What's up with that?
Yes.
What? What does that mean? Like every week you've got stuff. What does it mean?
You know where you're going every weekend.
No, it just means for me that I know the places that I want to go to in a year, and you have to know the best times it is for you to go there. And in order for you to, get the most out of flight sales or packages, etc., you need to know what you want to do, and you also have to get, the people who you're going with on board ahead of time. Because if you leave everything last minute, then it's highly likely that your plan will crash and fail. So it's just better to just have everything planned out from the start. Know what you're doing in December.
I need friends like yours. My friends are like, okay, tell me on the day and I'll decide if I'll be there.
So tell me, like, what's the most exciting place you've been to? Where are you based? You're based in Johannesburg?
No, I'm based in Mpumalanga.
Okay, so you're based in Mpumalanga. And what is the best spot to go to in Mpumalanga? Next time I'm there, where do I absolutely have to go?
You absolutely have to see the panorama route. That's the route where you see there's a whole lot of scenic stops and there's a whole lot of waterfalls. and it's also close by to Kruger National Park. So it's just about being in the outdoors, and it's so green and beautiful. For example, there's God's Window. I don't know if you've heard of.
Yes.
God's Window is one of the viewpoints, and there's Blind Rift Canyon. There's walks like potholes, and then,
God's
like
Window,
I said, a
indeed.
million waterfalls.
So there are waterfalls. Should we be sending people from Cape Town to this place to go and collect water?
I think so, yeah. Perhaps that is a good idea.
So what does it cost? I'm just saying, on average, what are you spending on average on a weekend? Like if you've got stuff planned from the Friday, Saturday, Sunday, is it on a shoestring budget? Can anyone do what you do, or do they need to be like investment brokers?
No, definitely not. That's one of the best things about traveling local, is that you can make it more affordable. Firstly, the transport costs, like doing a road trip from Joburg to Mpumalanga, if you fill your car up and split the fuel, the transport cost doesn't end up that much.
So you're saying
And
you've got to
then,
travel with people to split costs. That's the ideal, is it?
Yeah, fill the car, definitely.
Cool.
And then next up is the accommodation. I prefer to use Airbnb,
Yeah.
the app, because you can get cheaper deals through Airbnb, and you can earn credits through Airbnb to the point where you are actually not paying for accommodation.
Oh, you see. People need
I
to
wrote a blog post
educate
on that.
us.
So listen, is it like you can get an Airbnb clicks card so I can collect points? Is it something like that?
Vitality points.
It's like if you refer a friend to Airbnb and they sign up using your code, then they get 600 Rand off of their booking, and you get 300 Rand in credits to use for your next one. So you can collect
I'll refer
credits
you.
on Airbnb.
I like this thing of being able to like get discounts once you've referred someone. I like that.
Yeah.
And then listen, so today is Valentine's Day. Happy Valentine's Day
Yes.
to you. Where are you going tonight?
Thank you.
Where are you going?
Oh,
We won't stalk you. We are in Joburg.
I don't have any plans for my evening. I'm being so boring.
We've just buzzed
I'm
you
not doing
out.
anything at all tonight.
Where would you
But
tell
my
people
friend-
to go?
Yeah.
Where would you tell people
Where would
to
I
go?
tell people to go? If I was in Joburg, I would probably want to go to Marble restaurants. I know they have a very long waiting list.
Darling, you
but
are
I'd
very
be excited
bougie. That's
to
very
eat out there.
bougie. Very bougie. Marble.
I mean,
oh,
yeah,
God.
fine dining for yourself.
It's Valentine's Day after all.
Yeah.
So you like marble.
Yes.
And tell me, in terms of your meals, what is a good romantic meal to share? Is it oysters? Does it always have to start with oysters?
Like, come on, pizza. Oh my God, you can share pizza. It's
Oh, I
nice.
think it depends. It depends if it's a first date or not, because there's certain things which I feel shy about eating on a first date.
What,
because
like
it's
those
a bit
huge
messy.
burgers? What, ribs?
Prawns and wings.
Exactly. Like anything where like the whole tomato can slide out,
Yeah.
for example.
Yeah.
I think
Or
I feel
sushi.
more comfortable eating things like chicken strips or, neater food.
Something you can eat in small portions, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
So listen, and then tell us, like, if there are people out there listening to what it is that you do, how do you start? I mean, like, just give that quick bit of advice. How do you get started as a travel blogger?
Okay. Well, you
just start traveling.
I think one of the best ways, start traveling, and also just be active on social media. You'll find that there's a whole group of us, a whole group of South African travel bloggers, and once you just get linked within our community, we support each other and we give each other guidance and tips. I think that's one of the best ways, is to just join Twitter, join Facebook, Instagram, be everywhere. Use hashtags like short left.
Oh my God, like this is
And,
so complicated. Like use hashtags, like go onto Twitter or Facebook. Like it sounds busy.
So
How
that
do
we
you
can
manage
find
it?
each other.
And what
So
is
we
your
can find each other, support each other.
what is your travel blog called? Where do people
And then-
find you?
My travel blog is called gofari.com.
GoFari.
Oh, that's
so my
so
first
clever.
name is Sari, and then I
Almost
just
like
added the Go
Safari,
part
but
in
it's
front of it.
GoFari. That's so clever.
Yeah, it is.
GoFari.
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 Go far.
GoFari.
Yeah, but it's
I
spelled
like
with a PH.
Oh,
Oh,
PH.
Okay.
Gofari. Yeah.
Okay, that's quite cool. So
Yeah,
now listen,
so-
what we want to find out from you, and we'll touch base with you in say another month, can you give us a list of like your top places that you've been to?
In South Africa.
Yeah. We'll give you until, like I'm saying, let's give you a month to think about it. And we'll touch base with you again. We want to hear where you've been, what you've been doing, if you've done any bungees in crazy places, if you've gone skinny dipping in any amazing places. That's what we want to find out. Farirai, thank you so much for joining us this morning on the show.
Okay, perfect.
Yeah, we look forward to chatting to you again and hearing about these Airbnb points. Darling, if you want to share any credits, like... You know where to find us.
Yeah. We so need that discount right now.
Well, we'll see you on our next road trip then, yeah?
Okay, perfect. Thank you so much.
Cheers.
Thanks, Farira.
Thanks.
Bye.
And that's a wrap from the Green Hookup Show for this week. It's been an exciting show. Was a bit tense in moments there.
Yes, but we got through it.
Did you?
Yes, I learned many new words.
Like cognitive dissonance.
Yes. And what was the other thing?
Desalination.
Burak. Buraki?
Burak? It's a mythical creature.
Yeah.
With a horn and wings that looks like a horse. So, ladies and gents, it's Valentine's Day. Spread the love, share the love. Wear a condom if you must. If you must.
You just took all the love and romance out of Valentine's Day.
We've got to be responsible. We've got to be responsible. We want you to share the love, but be responsible about it. And please, if you do have someone in your life, don't go cheating tonight. Tonight is not the night.
No.
Tonight is
no
not the
night
night.
is the night.
No night is the, but definitely not tonight.
So tonight.
Especially so tonight. Wherever you go, have fun. Don't drink and drive.
No.
I'm sounding like an old woman.
Yeah, I feel
I'm
like
the
you
show on a low
are my
note.
mother telling me what I should be doing.
Guys, have fun. We'll see you next week, or we'll touch base with you next week. Cheers from me and Kerry. Till next time.
brandlive.co.za. You're listening to brandlive.co.za.